Hi, this is Antonio E27, and you're listening to the Dynasty Hotseat.
Yes, everybody, welcome back once again. It is the Dynasty Hot Seat, the only Dynasty show out there that is certified Inferno. And today we got a great guest lineup. We've got Antonio Carnevale. You can find him over on Twitter at FF_LightsOut7. He's doing some really cool stuff. He's got his podcast, The Bangers Trash Pod, and he's also writing some articles for 5 Yard Dynasty and for 5 Yard Rush as well. So it's great to have Antonio on the show today. He's going to share some hints and tips and sit in the hot seat for a mock draft. So, Antonio, lovely to have you on the show, mate. I see you've immediately kicked off bringing the heat with your Raiders top.
I thought I'd throw you off a little bit today, but you've done the same thing. So we are literally rivals on the. I love that.
I love it. Brilliant. Yeah, this is going to be the spiciest episode yet, with the Raiders and the Chiefs clashing together. So really appreciate you coming on, and how you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Not bad at all. Excited to get into this. I was saying, to a couple of others that it's a really good show. You're doing something really new and different, which I love.
Thank you.
And I'm very excited to be here. Good stuff.
Awesome. It's great to have you on, and I can't wait to hear the kind of hints and tips that you got for people listening. And we're going to get straight into segment number 1, the art of war, and you got a couple of great hints and tips for us. So let's hear them.
Okay, yeah, cool. So I've had to think about some of these, and I tried to come up with some new ones. So the first one I'm going to say is, in the startup dynasty, I think the important thing is to kind of trade down as much as you can in startups. But in the rookie draft, I think the best strategy is actually to trade up. So it's trade down in your startups and trade up in your rookie drafts and get the guy you like in the rookie draft. And the reason for that is you want to kind of have more players in the rounds 3 to 9 area of the startup than your opponents. The value is there. Get as many picks as you can. If you've got more players in that range than your opponents, then you're more likely to be a better dynasty squad. But the aggressiveness in your rookie draft is important because you need to hit on your rookies. It's the biggest value swing that you can have after the dynasty startup. So nice and easy. Trade down in startups, trade up in the rookie drafts.
Yeah, I really like that. I mean, especially the rookie draft one in particular is one that I really aggressively try to go after, instead of like going, oh, maybe this guy will fall to me. It's like, just put it beyond any reasonable doubt. Like, just move up, get the guy, and I like the trading down aspect as well. It's something that, we'll see coming up in part 2 is there is a very clear cliff that happens around, around like 10, right? There is a cliff.
I had about 8 to 9 rounds. 8 to 9, I said there was a cliff. But if you're in that range and you've got more picks than the others, then you're probably in a good shape. And the rookie draft, you need, if you hit on your rookies, that's the biggest way to gain value on your dynasty team. So if you got something you like, especially this year when maybe they're not as strong in rounds 2 or 3, go up and get them, and don't be afraid to do that. So that's a good tip.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Tip number 2. I don't know if anyone's mentioned this yet, but the biggest difference really between Dynasty and redraft really is, and for me, was understanding player contracts. So take a look at what contracts the players are on, how many years left. It's the biggest difference really, because otherwise you're playing a redraft league. You need to know how many years that player might be on that team for, or it might be hitting free agency next year. I'll give some examples obviously, but mainly they're going to be running back. So obviously Josh Jacobs, 5th year decline this year. You could easily join an RBBC next year, easily. You could be, or you could be the lead. You just got to understand what the player's contract is. You don't have to do that for redraft. Obviously, it's 1 year back. But for Dynasty, it's not hard, really. You would look up I think SpoTrack or some other website will have it, and it's just a good to understand what the player's contract is for your Dynasty team.
Yeah, and they can have such a huge difference on how much a player is used. Like, for example, like Christian Kirk this year. Christian Kirk's got a massive contract.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk is going to be used a lot. Like, its contracts can really tell you, like, sort of put the writing in the stars a little bit, of what's going to happen. And, like, Josh Jacob, there's an interesting one for Josh Jacobs. They haven't picked up the 5th-year option. So actually, sneakily, Josh Jacobs might have a massive year because they're not going to care if he gets injured or not.
So there's that aspect as well. Zeke is another one. These teams might just say, right, we're going to use them as much as we can because there's an out. Or Dalvin Cook's gone out in 2003, 2024. So just understanding the player's contract is always a good thing for your dynasty team, I think.
Yeah, I really like that, and you're right. It's easy enough just to go up and look up what the contract situation is. So it's good to definitely keep tabs on. So I love that as a second tip. You got a third tip for us, Antonio?
Yeah. So basically, pick a strategy and stick to it. So if you're in a dynasty startup, you can either go for the win now, or you could go for the kind of productive struggle side of things. But either way, just pick. You'll end up finding yourself picking one, and then just stick to it. Don't mix them around. Don't be afraid to draft kind of youth early and veterans late, even if you do either option. So we'll have a look at that maybe if I go one way or another later. But if you stick to that kind of rule about youth early, veterans late, it doesn't matter which way you go between struggle or win now. You'll end up shaping your team. And I think on top of that as well, if you feel like you're a contender maybe after the first couple of rounds, then just QB and RB. That's what you want to hit. You want to hit those RBs. You want to hit the quarterbacks. If you feel like you're going down the productive struggle route, go towards the wide receiver. If you're 50-50, wide receiver, tight end. That's probably, again, these are kind of rules of thumb, but if you kind of abide by those rules a little bit, you're not going to go far wrong, I don't think. Just be honest with your team. Don't pretend you're a contender and then all of a sudden start drafting running backs and quarterbacks. If you're not really going to contend, you're going to be in a world of trouble after, a year or so. So
don't veer suddenly off track in the middle of your draft and go like, oh, actually maybe I can do that. Yeah, you're right. You gotta have an idea, and a lot of the times you're not coming in with that super firm idea, but by the end of round 3 you're like, oh no, this is definitely what I need to do, and you need to stick like on that track.
Absolutely. And there's another one, just a link to that. There's another thing I wanted to say, and everyone's talked about kind of best player available on your show, which is great. And it should be best player available, draft for value, trade for need, and all that good stuff. However, if you're in a new league, and it's linked to everyone else that said, know your league mates. If you're in a league that's not very active and you don't know these people as well, you could end up easily having 14 wide receivers and 2 running backs. And you could end up struggling to trade because there's not much activity, or and I'm always best player available, always, and I think you should be, but just beware. It's best player available knowing your league is active, because if it's not, you could be stuck with that roster, or people could know you haven't got a running back and charge a lot more. So there's that.
Take a little pinch of caution with best player available. Like it's always great to get them, but I certainly in at least one league where I just can't trade with anybody. It's just nothing happening. I'm like, guys, come on, we gotta keep going. Like, but there's just not much response. It's great. Like I'm picking up people off the waiver wire. I got Tom Brady off the waiver wire. Like because no one's paying attention. But it's slightly annoying. Like I could do the trades.
Yeah, and I think that's it's just knowing, it's combining everything that people have said. Best player available with knowing your league. However, and there's the one last thing I wanted to say. Would really switching over to Dynasty or even redraft, just try and take in as much content as you can on Twitter, because there's so many good people doing good things, and it's only going to help you be a better player, I think. I've learned a lot. I've been playing Dynasty for 7 years now. This is my 7th year. Redraft a lot longer, and the switch over, I didn't really know what I was doing in Dynasty at the beginning, but there was so much stuff out there that's going to help. Always be learning and engage with great minds as well. Just write to people. You'd be amazed how many people want to help. So that's my last.
It is, I completely agree. It is amazing, this community of people. Like even this podcast, I thought, oh, like no one's going to want to come on here, and we're rapidly approaching episode 30 and we got people booked in up to, you know, close to episode 50. Like, it is incredible. The amount, and there's still just infinite people out there. Like, there's so many more people that, you know, I've not invited on or not like got scheduled to come on yet. And there's just, it is filled to the brim with people who, you know, who really know what they're talking about. And what I really like is they kind of articulate it in different kind of ways. You got, you know, you really like passionate people who will just, you know, talk and like really give you like passionate advice about players. You got your statistical guys that will back up with the numbers. You got your guys who look at, you know, history and like compare them to the past and present. There's so much out there. It's just, yeah, listen to as much as possible. I completely agree. So absolutely love those 3 tips, Antonio, and the bonus tip at the end as well. Awesome work. And then what we're going to do is we're going to see how those tips go into practice as we put you in the hot seat in part 2. Oh, the nerves are kicking around.
The nerves are kicking in.
And so here we go. Part 2, it's coming right up now. Here we go. It's now part number 2, the hottest part of the hot seat. Antonio, how are you feeling over there?
Oh, I'm sweating, to be honest. I'm very uncomfortable. All of a sudden, the temperature's changed.
Yeah, it's noticeably clammy, you're right, but you know, it'll be fine once you get easing into it. But actually, you're not easing into this at all, Antonio, because you were like, give me a spot no one's done before. And I was like, well, that's very brave. So we're thinking, we might be wrong, but we're thinking number 9, no one's done before. I'm pretty sure you're right. Let's get number 9 locked in. And we're just going to get rolling right into it, and we'll see who falls to us at the start. So let's start our mock draft, and you know, Josh Allen, Jonathan Taylor, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert. I'm sure. Yep, there you go. They're all falling off the board, and we're sitting now on the clock for our first pick as Lamar Jackson just fell. But I mean, the players you've got here, you can't be too annoyed. You got Kyler Murray, you got Dak Prescott as quarterbacks there, Deshaun Watson's quarterback, and then Najee Harris. Look at that. He is all the way up at ADP number 10. Wow.
Yeah, so I probably would have gone Lamar over Kyler, but I'm happy with Kyler there. You know, I won't take too much time here because I think I was always going to go one of those two. I think whoever fell. So I'm quite happy with Kyler being there at number 9. I think.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, you know, your fellow Welshman Paul Picking, you're quite happy with Kyler Murray there, right? I think he'd be very pleased to get his.
He would have taken him 3 though.
I think he would have. Yeah, he would have taken a bit higher, but that's all right for Paul. I'm sure he'll. Yeah. Well, he also would have taken, you know, any other Cardinals player he'd find. So we love you, Paul.
Oh, I didn't expect Watson to be there. I don't think. But I think I'm going to take DeAndre Swift here.
Okay.
Now the reason for that is just going back to what I said earlier with the tips. I think the young running backs are really hard to get hold of. There's a cliff in a minute after Bruce Hall probably. You know, and I think if Swift was taken, it would have been a conversation. Between him and Watson, or Cup and Watson, or whoever's left. But I think Swift, you can't pass over that kind of young stud running back. And I'm really looking forward to what Swift's going to do. I think he's about to take off, I believe. And also you got to think of next year, is Swift still going to be in that range? And I think he is. So, you know, the value's not, I don't think it's going to disappear for Swift. I think it's a safe pick.
I think it's very safe pick. I think Swift is fairly safe to be a top 5 running back next year. I mean, you see the people he's going before that. He's going right after Javonte Williams and Christian McCaffrey, and I feel a bit safer about Swift finishing higher than those two. Yeah,
I agree. Definitely Javonte Williams. McCaffrey. Well, McCaffrey's going the wrong way, I think, in terms of his age. What have we got left here?
Yeah. So yeah, we're back on the board again at the back end of round 3. Jalen Waddle, Derrick Henry, DK Metcalf sitting up there, and you know there are some other running backs and some quarterbacks still there as well.
Yeah. So interestingly, I think Waddle is probably the highest I would have here. It'd be a conversation between Waddle, Metcalf, and Higgins. I think I'm looking at those 3. Now I've got Swift in the running back. I probably won't actually come back to running back for a while. Just the way I draft usually is one at the start and then pick up some ones at the end. I'm quite happy with the the quarterback that I chose, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to reach for anyone in this range. I think Waddle's going to be my choice because
Yep.
he proved what he could do last year. He's obviously very young, and he produced especially in a PPR league. Getting Tyreek Hill there, it's only going to make the offense better overall. He is going to lose. I can't sit here and think, right, he's going to do the same as he did last year with Hill next to him. He's not. Let's be realistic. However, in Dynasty, I've got no worries there. Go young early and pick up some veterans later. But Waddle did produce at a young age, so who's to say he can't do it again with Tua?
Yeah, I think Waddle is. People are kind of sleeping a bit on Jalen Waddle, maybe, like he did so well last year. Obviously, Tyreek Hill has come in, and Tyreek Hill is going to be amazing because he's Tyreek Hill. But Jalen Waddle is now. Tyreek Hill's going to demand double coverage. If you don't double cover Tyreek Hill, he's going to kill you, which means Jalen Waddle's going to have, he'll have less targets, but he's going to have that, every catch is going to be worth so many more yards. I think his yards after the catch is going to be hugely increased compared to last year, which is, pretty valuable in Dynasty as well.
I agree.
And we're back on the clock now.
We're back on
the board. Round number 4 with Kamara, Chubb, and Saquon Barkley sitting up at the top. Players who were going, in the first round just 2 years ago, and now they're sitting here in the 4th.
Let's have a look at QBs a minute, Max, if that's all right.
Let's have a look. Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr and Tua, who we just talked about, still sitting there.
Yeah, so I mean, Rodgers in round 4 is very good. I think in a super flex league, he's really goes. I'm not going to have a chance to get him on the way back. Tua might actually, which would be nice to get on the way back. So let's have a look at the wide receivers. I think my favorite 2 just went off, Metcalf and
Higgins and Metcalf did just fly off. You got
I'm high on Deontay Johnson.
Drake. I'm just looking at Drake London. I'm like, goodness me, these rookies are going so high.
I probably would go Deontay Johnson out of that list, if I'm honest. But let's have a look at running backs just before I make that choice, because again, there is a chance. I'm not overly enthused by any of those. I don't think the top ones. I'm going to go Deontay Johnson here, pair him with Waddle, with Swift and Kyler. I think I'm quite happy with that start.
Yeah, that's a really young. It's got that really nice blend of players that are really young and they're also quite established as well. They got a really good blend, and it looks like that team is going to all hopefully just creep forward into their primes all at the same time, and everything should click, and that'll be lovely. And we're quickly back on the board again at in round number 5. I'll just flick onto all so you can see who's there. So Derek Carr is still there as well, which is quite nice, and a couple of tight ends sitting there too.
No, I think Derek Carr is going to be my choice, but just looking at the wide receivers. So Terry McLaurin, I've completely gone off the last. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Not in the minority there, because I just don't know what kind of ceiling he's got, to be honest, at the moment. I can't see a ceiling there with Wentz, and it's only going to get cloudier with Dotson, and Samuel didn't even play last year, so what happens when he comes back?
I just, I don't think he's a particularly horrible player, but I'm just looking at that list and I'm like, you cannot tell me that Terry McLaurin is a better player than Chris Godwin. Like, I just will not hear it.
No, Godwin, I'm pretty sure Godwin will be there on the way back. So I could either go Godwin then Carr, because I think they're the 2 I'm looking at. I'm gonna skip over the tight ends because there are a few later that I like. So it's either Godwin and then Carr, or Carr then Godwin. Let's have a look at the turn. What have they done? 10, 11, 12? Have they got 2 QBs?
They have one QB.
Yeah. Okay. Let's lock in Carr and let's see what happens. There's 3 receivers there. I'm happy with Carr going there.
Godwin has gone and McLaurin has gone as well. Yeah. I mean, whoever Team 12 must have been listening to me, because I took Godwin before McLaurin there. So
yeah, I know he skipped over Wilson as well.
I know.
So looking at the team now, I've got Kyler and Carr. The team is young, but it's also performing. If you take some of the scores they had last year, So, I could go either way now. And this is where, you have to pick one way or another. I was saying earlier. The team is strong enough with Swift. Let's have a look at the running backs. Fournette. So Leonard Fournette is there.
Zeke is still there. Elijah Mitchell is still there. Yeah, there's still talent there, but yeah, that cliff comes so fast at running back.
Yeah. So there's a couple down there like Dylan and I think CH is dropping really fast. That's the 94 is probably the lowest I've seen him.
Yeah.
On here, I wouldn't mind him being the RB2. So I'm going to probably go back to. Was Hawkinson still on the board?
I'm pretty sure he was. Yeah, Hawkinson's still sitting up there.
Yeah, no, I'm going to take Hawkinson. I'm going to take Hawkinson. Getting that top tier. I think he's very close to the top tier. You could easily see Hawkinson and Waller switching, can you, in Dynasty? You could see Hawkinson taking that step, if he's not even there already. So I'm taking Hawkinson here. I'm going to get the position over others. I'm going to go back on what I said about waiting for tight end. Well, this is the thing. When you've got someone who's clearly a tier above the others, grab them, especially in Dynasty. So
yeah, you're 100%. And let's have a little look and see. I think this happened recently on an episode with TJ Hawkinson. You look at Hawkinson and then it goes Hawkinson and then it goes Schultz, Goddard, Freiermuth, Knox, and all of a sudden it's like none of those guys are, that close to Hawkinson. So I think I would do the exact same thing as you here. Like he's sitting there, he's staring in the face, and you can lock up that tight end position and not worry about it now.
Yeah, so quite happy the way it's going actually. Waddle, DJ, Swift, Hawkinson. You can see all the kind of Leonard Fournette. Oh, AJ Dillon, I was hoping he would get back to me.
Not quite coming back to you there, unfortunately.
I really like AJ Dillon going forward, I think. So
yeah, I think he'll be good going forward, and he'll probably take more of that share off Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones sneaky, I think, this year. I think Aaron Jones is going to catch a lot of passes this year. Completely. Just because the wide receivers there are a bit in flux, and Aaron Rodgers trusts them, and as much as I do like Christian Watson, he's the kind of player that Aaron Jones might not like either. So I'm a bit worried.
100% with you. I'm with you on that one. I really like Aaron Jones. I think he's going to get a lot of those kind of Devontae Adams targets. They're not all going to go to Watson, are they, down the field? So and Tonyan as well. So yeah, running back James Conner, excellent win now piece. I think he's going to be actually top. He could be easily top 8 running back this year. And they give him quite a big contract. Going back to the contracts conversation, they give him a 3-year contract and brought in Darrell Williams. I don't actually think Darrell Williams does much. He's just a solid handcuff. He's quite good in pass protection, obviously, so he might get on the field the first time. But Connor showed enough for them to pay
He's got pretty good hands, Williams, just from watching him. I watched him quite a bit last year, obviously, the Chiefs. He's got actually really good hands. Like Mahomes used to throw to him, and he would be lined up in the slot. Mahomes would just chuck it up and he would trust him. So Williams' hands are quite good, but I don't know if that's the way that the Cardinals want to play anyway.
No. What round are we in here? 7, 6?
Round number 7.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to take James Conner here. I think he's going to give solid value this year. And I think if you're halfway through the year and you're not going to contend, he's a perfect sell to a contender. So for a dynasty team, you can't give away kind of that. You can't get top 8 or 7 RB production anywhere.
Yeah.
So get them, sell them. If you're not going to use them, sell them.
Yeah, I think that's great. And, in round number 7, now you kind of just secured, I don't think it would be too bold to say you've got 2 running back ones, for next year in your team with Swift and James Conner. That is, that's not an unreasonable thing to say, I don't think.
No, yeah, I agree.
And on the board again, Brady's still there. Christian Watson, we were just talked about available. Some of these other tight ends are creeping up now. It's quite nice. You don't really have to worry about it so much. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who we just spoke about as well, he is still sitting there too.
Yeah, looking back now, this is good. Good exercise here in Dynasty. Looking back, you could, I was looking at Cooper, Amari Cooper before, and I was thinking Amari Cooper and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or James Conner and someone who I take now. and Cooper's gone. So if I took Cooper, I probably would have got a Leal on the way back. But I went for Connor, and I think it's between Mike Williams and Cortland Sutton for me. I like both a lot this year.
Yeah.
I've taken Sutton over Williams in every draft, so I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to stick to Cortland Sutton. I think he obviously gets a quarterback upgrade. The connection's been there already over the summer, apparently, but he had the pedigree as well. Let's not forget Sutton had the pedigree coming out as well. He was high in Dynasty rookie rankings, when he first came out as well. I think he's primed for a takeoff, but we'll see. Let's get him in.
Yeah, I think he's definitely worth the risk. At round number 8, where people are taking risks, and people like Sky Moore anyway. Like you've got someone there that is tied to a great quarterback, and yeah, you're right. If he can stay healthy and stay on the field, then he's going to be really good.
Yeah, it was close between him and Mike Williams, because Mike Williams got obviously the connection with the quarterback. He's got the age, but he's not stayed on the field forever in his own right, is he? Also, he might not be the number one, whereas I think Sutton will be the number one there. So it's in between him and Judy.
It's easy to see that Sutton being the new Metcalf kind of thing. Like that's an easy link to just jump right to, right? So yeah, I like Sutton a lot next year, and there's still a couple of players on here that I still like a lot as well in round number 9 with Miles Sanders, Hunter Renfrow, and Gabe Davis sitting up near the top.
So I really like Gabe Davis. I think he's young. He's tied to a great quarterback.
Yep.
So is Allen Robinson, though. If I had to choose between them both, I would probably go Davis in this situation, because the team is quite young with Waddle, DJ, and Davis, but they're all young with a path to production, if that makes sense. And that he kind of fits that mold that I'm doing. Sutton is a bit older, maybe would fall in the Allen Robinson range, but I'm looking at those two there. Again, I'm pretty set at quarterback with Kiner and Carr, and at tight end with Hawkinson. So probably going to go take. No, I think I'm going to go Allen Robinson. I'm going to go Allen Robinson. I think he, again, looking at Connor, looking at Sutton, I think they're ready to produce now.
Yeah.
And I've got the youth already on the team. So yeah, I mean, I'm setting myself up either to win now or next year with this team. And I think Robinson probably fits that a little bit better than Gabe Davis. There is still a bit of uncertainty around Gabe Davis, a little bit in the industry as well. So whether or not, if he doesn't produce straight away, would you be able to move him? I'm not sure, but Robinson will have that value immediately. I can't see them bringing back ODB. I think it's going to be Cup. I think it's going to be Cup and Robinson. So I know there's going to be production immediately there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think with the kind of team you're building at the minute, there's, with Davis, there is that slight thing in the back of most people's head, like, oh, what if actually he's, because actually
the thing with Davis, so he did show in that one game he's got the ceiling. That's the thing. It's lovely to see someone do that, because I was only people would say it's a fluke game, it's not going to happen again, but actually it happened, and he showed he could do it, which is massive.
Plus, how many players have fluke games like that and aren't good? Like that was that wasn't like a fluke. That was a monster game. Like, it doesn't happen to everybody. So yeah, I like Gabe Davis, and but I think Allen Robinson there with the team you're building. I don't have any doubt in my mind that Allen Robinson's going to produce next year. Whereas I do have a slight doubt that Gabe Davis might. And he does fly off the board. He doesn't quite come back to it. Yeah, unfortunately, as we're back on. We got.
Sorry, I was going to say I wasn't. It was always going to be those two. One of them was going to go off. I wasn't expecting them both. Would have been lovely. Never mind.
But you still got some lovely players on the board though. But it is creeping towards. It is now, like we talked about at the start. This is round number 10, and this is. So you got Jahan Dodson there, risky. Claypool, risky. Everybody here from now on has risk attached to them, or age attached to them. It's one of the two from now on, I think.
So normally, exactly that. And if I'm in that position, I default back to quarterback. If you're in doubt, take quarterback, because they will have more value than anyone else on this board.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the running backs because I do like Hunt. I think
I'll just
Hunt
check.
will actually.
He's got some news about him.
Oh,
He's still in the Browns' plans. Wow, well, that's great
fantastic!
news.
Well, let's
Thanks.
get him, man.
That's
Get him
great
in.
news. Yeah.
Yeah. No, don't get him in yet. No, I was only
Yeah.
joking. So, yeah, I mean, Edmonds is in line for more work than Hunt. You know, if you look at that
Yeah.
on a team where I can't see Sony Michel or Mostert really pushing him. Let's be honest, for a start role. Michel did well actually last year.
He did,
and he'll be the closer one. I don't think Mostert's even back to full strength. So
Mostert is not going to be. Mostert will play for a bit. Mostert will look like the best running back in the league, and then Mostert will get injured. That's just what happens. Like, yeah, it's a shame. He's so talented and so good. I have no idea how he's still so fast. He's in every injury under the sun, and he's still so quick.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
so
he just can't stay fit.
No. Let's have a look at the wide receivers again. So I got 4: Waddle, DJ, Sutton, and A-Rob. I think that's pretty strong actually. Michael Gallup, no. No, I'm gonna go with Edmonds because I got Swift and Connor there, and I think he is the same age as Hunt actually, but again, I think he's going to get more work than Hunt. Thinking about the team, you know, bye-week fill-ins there. And not only that, if he is the starter, he's going to automatically get value again halfway through the season.
Yeah.
So you're trying to these people with touches. You want your team to have touches to get value. It's fine saying Hunt's going to have value if Chubb gets injured, and Chubb does miss a game now and again, and he would be an automatic starter. But for the team I've got here, I think Edmonds is is probably a better fit. So I'm going to go for Edmonds, Chase Edmonds.
Nice. Let's get Chase Edmonds.
3.
Yeah, running back 3, getting that one of the pieces. I think with that Miami running back team, you want a piece of the pie. You just want someone's going to be the lead there. Chase Edmonds is definitely the favorite at the moment, but you just want to take someone from there at least, so you got a shot at least of getting those fantasy points.
Yeah,
agreed. We're right back on the board, and some quarterbacks are still sitting up there, and then Ramondre Stevenson is still sitting there as well near the top, and Cordero Patterson last year's, the king of Dynasty last year is still sitting there.
So I've had a few conversations about Patterson in our circles. I'm all off. I'm completely off him. However, he has got that flexibility of being a running back wide receiver. It sounds ridiculous, but I used that a lot last year in one way or the other. You know, if you were shallow on a wide receiver, it was lovely to put him in there. If you were shallow at running back, you could throw him in there. If he's going to keep that eligibility, it'd be silly not to take him here because he could slide in as my wide receiver 5 or my running back 4.
Yeah.
He's got more value than everyone else on the board. Has Spiller gone? Because has Spiller gone?
I do not see him, so he must have just gone. Team number 3 pipped you for Isaiah Spiller. Yeah,
so I was thinking where I would rank him, and in the kind of rookies, and I would probably have the likes of Spiller. And maybe David Bell if is he still on the board? David Bell, because I do like him as a rookie.
Let's have a look. Can I just filter the rookies? Yes.
No, he's gone as well.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So I probably would go. I'm going to go with Patterson. And
you can hardly believe the words coming out of your mouth.
I can't believe it. I'm going to get some stick for this, but he's going in. What round are we in? Just to remind them, I'll remind them what round you got taken in. There you go. Round 11. There you go.
The back end.
The back end as well.
Yeah.
Fine. So let's take Patterson.
Let's get Cordero Patterson.
He's going to get used. I think he's going to get used. A lot this year.
Why would they stop? He was so good. Why would they just stop using him? I think that is one of the things that a lot of dynasty players are guilty of as well. It's like, oh, they're a year older. It's like, why would a team Atlanta don't care about your fantasy team. Like they don't.
No, they don't.
Why would they just stop using their
They
best
don't care
player
about their
from
own
last
team.
year? No, they don't care about their own. Yeah. Why would they care about yours? Like so. Yeah, I just don't see why he would. He might have a dip because maybe defenses might have figured him out a bit more, but they're still going to use him because they'd be silly not to because he was so good. So yeah, I think at the back end of the 11, I think that's a good pick sitting there, and we're right back. We're right back here in round number 12, and again, so quarterback still sitting there. There's not been a third quarterback run as such just yet. So we'll have
I've
a
got
choice
my
of quarterbacks maybe.
Daniel Jones. I think I like as a number 3 to go with Kyler and Carr. I think that'd be strong. If a quarterback run does go though, he'll disappear fast. So I'll keep my eye on that.
Yeah.
What's the tight end situation? I know I've got Hawkinson. Oh,
Irv Smith, my guy, Smith Jr.
He's also so he was the one I was waiting for. I'm probably still going to select him here. Even though you got one, I've got Hawkinson already. I don't mind being strong at tight ends, especially in a 12-teamer. So if Irv Smith hits, you're going to have 2 top 10 tight ends in a 12-team league. I love that. Be strong in that position. I'm going to take Irv Smith.
I like that. And actually, you know what? Like TJ Hawkinson is so good, you can play him in your flex. Like he is that good. He will get that many points. So getting Irv Smith locked in as your tight end here, I think is really good because he's perfectly respectable, playing in that tight end position.
Yeah. So I'm very happy with those 2. I won't touch tight end now, I promise. That'll be it for that position done.
I can't help myself sometimes. I just see tight end there and just like, that is such a good fella. I can't help myself sometimes. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to a lot of the time. And we'll click off the tight ends in case anyone gets tempted. All those quarterbacks are still sitting there, and I think if we take one, that might trigger a run of them. But you've also got some younger
I'm going to come back.
Too.
Yeah, I'll have like a quarterback on the way back. This two probably. Russell Gage has caught my eye straight away. Again, thinking about immediate production with Tom Brady, and actually, was he 26 with an? Did he get a multi-year contract? Again, that'd be nice to have a look at that. But it doesn't really matter. I think I'm going to take Gage here because Godwin's probably going to miss a little bit of time. He's going to have Brady. He's going to be on the field with Tom Brady with a high scoring, throw a lot offense. Just with the names on that list, I would probably take Gage above most, if not all of them. So yeah, I'm very happy with Gage, and he's my wide receiver 5, and I think he's going to be wide receiver 3 this year. So
I think that's lovely for your 5th wide receiver coming off the board, someone who's got just the opportunity at the start of the year to really cement his place in, and if he gets that trust of Tom Brady, then he'll throw the ball a bit more. So that's great for the start of his season. And let's see, I don't think any of those quarterbacks did fly off, so they're all still sitting there. You can go for one now, you could wait another round as well. So what kind of things are you thinking?
So I like Henderson here. A couple of names that caught my eye on your list. Any kind of injury to I do really like Akers this year. I think they're going to give him the workload. But he's the kind of player who has shown that they will throw in immediately, the Rams. So he's a handcuff. He's a bit of a handcuff plus, really. I'm not saying I'm going to use him too much if there's no injury. I don't think I would. I don't think the Rams would. But he is the free agent. So this is another good thing with the contract. He is a free agent next year. If he was to get on the field at all for a 4 or 5 game stretch with Akers gone, he could easily get himself a job next year. And that's what you want in a dynasty league. So I think he's a really good handcuff. I would take him over Hubbard and Ingram. Gainwell's the other one I'm looking there, but I don't think he's got. He probably hasn't got the 3 down skill set. I'm not saying Henderson has, but at least we've seen them give it to him. So that's a good sign. What have we got? Wide receiver, Kenny Galladay.
So look at McCall Hardman's there, who I just don't like McCall Hardman. Like I'm a Chiefs fan, I just don't like him.
I would take MVS over him, and he's a bit lower down. They paid him. They paid him a bit more. So I'm with you on that one. I'm gonna go what I said. Henderson as probably the last RB that I take.
Nice. So let's get Darrell Henderson locked in. Someone who was extremely fantasy relevant last year, obviously with Cam Akers, and he looked really good, and
Yeah.
Cam Akers didn't look great coming back, but it was a miracle that he even got back. So we'll give him a pass for that, I think.
Oh yeah, I like I said, I think this year he comes back. I think he's full strength, and I like Akers. I think he creeps into the top 10, top 12 next year running back.
Yeah,
he's young enough.
Yeah.
He's young enough.
Wouldn't be shocked at all.
Again,
and all those
QBs.
quarterbacks, they're still there. I'm not sure if this is kind of a sort of sleeper glitch or not. I don't imagine they would still be there, but I'm not sure.
I can take one if you want. I don't mind. Well, again, we'll wait until the turn. Next time, I'll 100% take one on the way back.
Okay.
So let's go to wide receiver, if that's all right.
So you got OBJ sitting up there. Ultimate gamble, OBJ at the minute, right? You don't know where he's going to end up.
And also, he won't play. I don't think he's going to play until the back end of November. He could be ready for your playoffs, but for a 30-year-old, I think, to miss that many games, I'm not that keen.
Yeah.
I'm going to take MVS for the reasons we said earlier. He's on the field with they paid him.
Yeah.
He's on the field with Mahomes. He's on a high scoring offense, similar to Gage. I think he's going to be on the field with a top quality quarterback. That's good enough for me at this late, for sure. Any injury to Juju or Kelsey.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know if his role grows, because he's always got that role, but it is valuable. So I'm going to take MVS.
Yeah, he's just tied to that, the high-powered offense, obviously, and he's got a shot. And we're pretty sure how MVS is going to be used by the Chiefs. He's going to stretch the field. He's going to be that go downfield kind of player like he was, at the Packers. But maybe not. Who knows? People have been wrong about bigger things than that before. So who knows what he's going to be used like, and it's worth taking a gamble. In the round number 15. Yeah, worth the gamble, I think.
And that's what you want. You want people who can blow up now in this. So Henderson would absolutely blow up if Akers went down. MVS could blow up if Mahomes just locks into him. You never know.
Yeah.
These are the players that you want. QB. So there's Mariota's down there as well. You just want a starter as your third. Although, if we do pick one now, we will kick off a run. Do you agree with Mills being the top of that list, or do you think he's? I really like what I saw last year from him. He didn't get enough credit. He didn't get enough credit whatsoever.
I really like Davis Mills. Really like Davis Mills, and I think just with the way he produced last year with not a lot around him. He's got I like Pep Hamilton there. Sort of helping him out. He's obviously worked with some of the best quarterbacks around. Brandon Cooks is solid still. And I just think that for the amount he had to work with last year and how well he'd done, I think he's just going to continue to step forward. And the only other person I would consider there maybe is, Matt Ryan's going to be good next year, but for how much longer? And, Daniel Jones is, I never quite know what to think of Daniel Jones. I think he does have a lot of ability, obviously, and the potential is there, but he just seems to mess up a lot. And just it's like, what are you doing, Daniel? A lot of the time, but if he puts it all together with his new coaching staff, then you never know.
Yeah. Now let's go with Davis Mills because he is obviously they have shown him a bit of trust in him, I think, especially in the draft as well. So every other team maybe brought in Willis, maybe brought in Ridder, all these other teams, fine. We were looking at Houston to see whether or not they put another QB in there, but actually they did the opposite. They put offensive line and they gave him a weapon in Mechie. They Brevin Jordan's young, Nico Collins is young. He's got and the running back. Was it Damian Pierce? Is it?
Yeah, they got Mac and Pierce. Yeah.
Yeah. So what they did was they actually brought in young players around him. They're all the same kind of age, apart from Brandon Cooks is the old guy there. But actually, it's like they're all going to grow up together, maybe in that offense.
Yeah.
So I like what they're doing there. So let's go with Mills as a third, and that'll be it set. And hopefully we kick off a run now.
I think usually on Sleeper it does, but maybe not this time. It seems to be more of a running back run there as well. I see people this is just
Davis Mills is a running back.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, there we are.
That makes me feel better.
All just fly off all at the same time, and
Oh, there you
We
go. That would
got
have been...
we got Baker Mayfield. Has Baker Mayfield been traded?
No.
Oh, the opposite. He's unlikely to be traded for Baker. Wow, that's yeah. Oh dear. So we're on the board with. We got 2 picks to go.
Cool.
At the minute, I'm showing all. Is there any position? Do you want to any position you want to have a
Let's
look
go.
at?
Yeah, let's go to tight end. I did say Brevin
Yeah.
Jordan. I can see him there.
Yeah.
I like Everett as well. This is a third in it after Hock and Irv Smith. So yeah, for that reason, I'd probably take Brevin Jordan.
Yeah.
Hock, Irv Smith. Haven't got to produce straight away, but he looks great. To
Yeah.
be honest.
And then if that pairing works, you'll have Mills and Jordan
stack.
there as well. So yeah, that's well worth the risk in run number 17, as the rest of these quarterbacks kind of get mopped up towards the end. And I'll just filter on all this. You see Jarvis Landry, new signing at the Saints there, Van Jefferson, sitting there as well. Some interesting wide receivers sitting up there still.
Tim Patrick would be my choice. I've got Sutton, but I think Patrick again is more than likely going to be on the field. 3 wide receiver set, and also he got a contract. Who's to say that it's not going to be Patrick and Sutton and Judy's the odd one out? And obviously he's a bit of cover for Sutton. I think Patrick's got a bit of standalone value if I wanted to move him as well. So I would choose Patrick for my last choice.
Nice, that's good. Tim Patrick, sort of he's like sneakily one of my favorite players in the NFL. I think like he's maybe not like the best dynasty player or the best fantasy player, but every time I watch, like if you're watching Red Zone or you're watching like a Broncos game, it's like Tim Patrick is so good. But he just doesn't seem to score any points.
Yeah, and he's a good blocker apparently, so he'll stay on the field.
For
Melvin.
So I like that as a last pick. So let's have a look then at how the team is looking, and I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. So let's have a look and see. It's Kyler Murray, DeAndre Swift and James Conner, Waddle, Deontay Johnson and Cortland Sutton, TJ Hawkinson, Allen Robinson, Chase Edmonds, and Derek Carr as the starters there, which is incredible. And you got the bench of, Cordero Patterson, a steal at the back end of the 11th, Irv Smith, Russell Gage, Darrell Henderson, MVS, Davis Mills, Brevin Jordan, and Tim Patrick. Wow, like Antonio. It. Gotta like that, Antonio, right?
I do. I really like that. Well, it surprised me a little bit, but yeah, I'm glad I'm represented with the Cardinals as well with Murray and James Conner and Chase Edmonds. I still got a soft spot for him, so ex-Cardinal.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you've absolutely done a smashing job, Antonio, and just once again, just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. And you just want to remind people where they can find you online as well.
Yeah, no problem. FF_lightsout7 on Twitter. So I do a bit of work for the 5 Yard Dynasty team as well. So you can find me over there. But it's been a pleasure, Max. Thank you very much.
It's been absolutely great. And, you just mentioned 5 Yard there, and we got to give, a little point over here. We got up at the very top of the Hall of Fame. It's Murph from that 5 Yard team. Obviously, he's sitting at the top of the Hall of Fame with Jay Stein and Kev from the Wildcard podcast, still holding down the top 3 on the Hall of Fame. So if you think Antonio's done a great job, and hey, just have a look at this team. Wow, he's done an amazing job. Give a thumbs up to this video on the YouTube channel. If you're listening, see if you can head over and give it a thumbs up, and let's see how high we can get him up the Hall of Fame. So Antonio, been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much. Awesome. And everybody listening, thank you so much as always for tuning in, and we'll cool off for a little while, but remember, just keep yourselves and your teams lit, and we'll see you next time.